Very good morning to all of you. uh, Geet, Yogesh, and everyone. So, requesting select everyone name while you are doing the chatting. We have already discussed section 17, 1 to 4. Let me revise this section and then we'll go to the rule 42 and then certain circular. See, section 17 says that apportionment of the credit and the block credit. When goods or services are being used partly for the purpose of business and partly for other purpose, amount of the credit shall be restricted to so much of the ITC which is attributable for the business purpose. So we know that if we are using both for business purpose and non-business purpose, can we take the ITC to the extent of the non-business purpose? Answer is no, because of 17.1. 17.2 says that when the goods or services are used by the registered person partly for effecting taxable supplies including zero rated under this act or IGST act, or and partly for effecting exempt supply under the said act. So if we are using goods and services or both by the registered person for taxable as well as exempt supply, then the amount of the credit shall be restricted to so much of the ITC as it is attributable to the taxable supply including zero rated. Now, how to calculate the amount attributable? That will be answered by how to calculate the amount attributable. That will be answered by rule 42 in case of input and input service and rule 43 in case of the capital goods. Now, these are the four types of the supply. Tell me, if I am making exclusively taxable supplies, can I take the ITC? Give yes or no. Fine. If I am making exclusive the zero rated supplies, will I be able to take ITC or not? The answer is yes. If I am making only exempt supply, would I be able to take ITC? No. And what about the non-taxable supplies? If I'm making the non-taxable supplies, would I be able to take ITC? Now tell me, what is the non-taxable supplies? Tell me, what is the non-taxable supplies? Correct. If I go to the definition of exempt supply, it says nil rated, exempted by way of notification using the power of section 11 or section 6 of IGST. Then third is non-taxable supplies. What is the non-taxable supplies? Which is not leviable to tax. And levy arise from where? Levy arise from which section? Levy of the GST arise from which section? GST का लेवी कौन से प्रोविजन से अराइज होता है? From which provision the levy got attracted? And from that section, you can only decide what is not leviable. Answer is section 9. Answer is section 9. ठीक है. When you go to the section 9, 9 subsection 1 exclude alcoholic liquor for human consumption and ENA. Correct. Second, when you read the 9 subsection 2, it exclude the 5 specified petroleum product like aviation turbine fuel, natural gases, petrol, HSD. Correct. So by reading the 9 subsection 1 and 9 subsection 2 jointly, we can say there are the three categories. One is alcoholic liquor, one is ENA, next is five specified petroleum products, then these three combinedly called as non-taxable supplies. Now, you tell me what happen if exempted item supplied out of India. So I'm sending the goods out of India, but underlying item is completely exempted. Would I be able to take ITC? If my goods which is exported out of India, but that are completely exempted, would I be able to get ITC? क्या मुझे आईटीसी मिलेगा अगर मैं एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा हूं, आउट ऑफ इंडिया भेज रहा हूं, बट अंडरलाइंग आइटम इज कंप्लीटली एग्जेम्प्टेड? द आंसर इज यस. You are entitled to take input tax credit even though the goods are exempted because of 16 subsection 2 of IGST Act. Now read this line. This is not CGST, it is IGST Act, which says that subject to block credit, the credit of input tax may be availed for making zero rated supplies. What is the word I have used? Goods sent out of India. And if the goods are being sent out of India, is it export of goods? Answer is yes. Because export of the goods simply require from India to out of India, physical movement, nothing else. Considering that my supply becomes zero rated, export and export is zero rated. Because it is zero rated, 16.2 of IGST Act says that you are entitled to take ITC, notwithstanding that supply may be exempt supply. Even though that supply is exempt supply, it is immaterial. So if I am making zero rated supplies, but that is exempted from GST, still I would be entitled to take ITC, because that once the supply would be considered as zero rated, it will be treated as taxable supply always, because 17.2 says zero rated supplies we will consider always taxable supplies. Actual tax is not leviable, doesn't matter. Is this clear? Is this clear to all? Okay. Great. Nice. What is the meaning of capital goods? What is the meaning of input and what is the meaning of input service? This term has been defined in section 2 clause 19 of CGST Act. The capital goods means goods. It has to be goods, the value of which is capitalized in the books of the person claiming the ITC. Such goods are used or intended to be used in the course or furtherance of business. Such goods are used or intended to be used in the course or furtherance of business. Section 2 clause 59, any goods other than capital goods and used or intended to be used in the course or furtherance of business. So what is input? See, normally the term is input. You may get confused. Is it goods or service? For the input, they've used the word service in case of input service. It means the only term input represent it is goods other than capital goods. खाली input है तो क्या मतलब है? Goods या service? Answer is goods. क्योंकि सर्विस का तो वर्ड सर्विस साथ में अटैच है. इनपुट कभी सर्विस के लिए नहीं कहते. इनपुट सर्विस इज द टर्म यूज्ड फॉर इनपुट सर्विस. अगर ओनली वर्ड इनपुट है, it means it is talking about goods other than capital goods. Why I am talking about so much? Because when we will read the multiple different provisions, specifically refund, inverted duty, then the term input you have to recall The what is the meaning of input? Input means only goods other than capital goods. Or what is the meaning of input service? Any service used or intended to be used in the course of furtherance of business. That we have already discussed. Correct. The value of the exempt supply, the now you give me the answer. 1 minute. Now, the term exempt supply for the purpose of reversal of common ITC. The term exempt supply has been expanded, given the wider meaning for the purpose of 17 subsection 2. Now you tell me, see, exempt supply which has been prescribed, and in addition to that, there are certain more category of the supplies are treated as exempt supply. Tell me, what are those? Any one or two or three, whatever you can recall. I need to ask three things from you, and then I will discuss one by one. Now, exempt supply includes some more transaction like RCM, transaction in security, etc. Perfectly given the answer. Now you tell me, this question you can take later on. At the same time, you can say Schedule 3 versus exempt supply. Normally, Schedule 3 will be considered as exempted or not considered as exempted, except few entries. My question to all of you, please give me the answer, considered or not considered. Schedule 3 item will be considered or not considered as exempt supply, except few transaction. Normal principle क्या है Schedule 3 का? Will the Schedule 3 be considered as exempt supply or not considered as exempt supply except few? मतलब considered as exempt supply except few या not considered as exempt supply except few? General principle I'm talking about. So, absolutely correct. General principle is Schedule 3 will not be treated as exempted supply except few. Except few means there are certain entries which are considered as exempted supply, and therefore reversal will the reversal be apply or will the reversal not apply? उन दो एक या दो जो एंट्रीज है, do we need to do the reversal or we are not required to do the reversal? Answer is apply, means we need to do the reversal. How many? There are two entries. Can you tell me what are the entries in short, not exact language? Not exact language which you are sharing to me, just in short tell me, and not use any study material for the timing when we are reading. हाँ, मुझे शॉर्ट में आंसर चाहिए, ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि आप खुद आंसर कर रहे हैं. इट इज नॉट लाइक टेकन फ्रॉम एनी अदर सोर्स. एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन, योगेश, संजय, गीत, everyone are requested to, Samyanathan, Dharmendra Shukla, Chitra, please give the answer. Please do the chat so that, like Sanjay has given the answer, land and building and warehouse goods. Okay. Everyone. Any other answer? See, schedule 3 are neither supply the goods nor supply the service. Absolutely correct. Out of which para 3 and para 8A are considered. See, now you can say earlier only para 5 was there and now they have added the para 8A. So these two para would be considered as exempted supply and rest all the transactions are not considered. Rest all the entries are not considered as exempt supply for the purpose of reversal of common ITC. So if you have the para 5 or if you have the para 8A, that will be treated as exempted. Clear? Now the third last question to all of you. Exempted supply hai. The transaction is exempted. I'm talking about the domestic supply, not export. Export we have already discussed. Supply is exempted as per the notification. But for the purpose of reversal of common ITC, as per 17.2, those items are not treated as exempt supply. Meaning thereby, if they are not treated as exempted for the purpose of this provision, then common ITC need not to be reversed. You tell me, if you can recall and tell me कि वो कौन से आइटम थे, कौन से ट्रांजेक्शन थे जो एग्जेम्प्ट सप्लाई तो है अदरवाइज, बट इस प्रोविजन के लिए उसे एग्जेम्प्ट नहीं माना जाता. Because it is not considered as exempt, therefore there is no question of reversal of common ITC. Any answer? नहीं नहीं नहीं, संजय, आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड कि दैट जीरो रेटेड नहीं होगा. ठीक है, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द डोमेस्टिक. ओके, गीत हैज गिवन वन करेक्ट आंसर. इस सर्विस का नाम क्या होगा गीत? वट एवर द आंसर यू गिवन, व्हाट विल बी द नेम ऑफ द सप्लाई, नेम ऑफ द सर्विस? Interest on loan. Absolutely correct. Interest on loan which is exempt supply will not be considered as exempted for the purpose of reversal of common ITC. Very nice. And any other idea about the second transaction? That is duty credit scrip. Sale of MEIS or SEIS license. Sale of MEIS or SEIS license means when you are doing the export, you are getting certain benefit from the custom, which you can sell also. That is script you can sell. And script are considered as exempt supply. Script are considered as exempt supply. But it says that for the purpose of reversal of common ITC, we will not treat as exempt supply. Where it is written? It is written in the explanation 1 2 after the rule 43. After the rule 43, there is a one explanation which talks about key the aggregate value of exempt supply shall exclude, means these are the exempt supply. But for the purpose of rule 42 and 43, you will not treat the following exempt supply. Following, you will not treat the exempt supply for the purpose of reversal. Clear? Earlier, there was a clause A also and the clause C also, which now become redundant and therefore they have omitted. So we have only two clauses, clause B and the clause D. I will ask one question on the clause B, but not now. Let me wait for some time and then I will ask one important question. The value of activity. There is a one explanation 3. It says that paragraph 8, schedule 3, subparagraph A, that is supply the warehouse goods, which is required to be included in the value of exempt supply under clause B of the explanation to 17.3 shall be. Now the point is, you have already told that you will include the value of, sorry, go back to the schedule 3, para 8A is also considered as exempt supply. Now, what would be the value of that warehouse goods before home consumption? Supply the warehouse goods before home consumption. Explanation 3 says that the value will be the value of the supply the goods from the duty-free shop at arrival terminal in international airport to the incoming passenger. So these would be the value. And normally, the value of land and building shall be taken, which is adopted for paying stamp duty. So for the purpose of reversal of common ITC, you told that outward RCM will be added. You told that schedule 3 para 5 and clause para 8A will be added. So para and value of transaction and securities will be added. So value of the land and building would be the value which is being used for the purpose of paying stamp duty, and value of security means 1% of the sale value of that security. For the purpose of rule 40, so that we have discussed, now that we have discussed. Now coming to the section 17 subsection 4, the banking company or financial institution including NBFC which is engaged in supplying the accepting deposited extending supplies the service by way of extending deposit loan advances etc shall have the option. Option means there are two options. What are the two options available to the banking company? Can quickly anybody tell me what are the two options available to the banking company? What are the two options available to the banking company? The first option, they will determine the exempt supply in taxable supplies, and whatever we will discuss in the rule 42, accordingly you can reverse the ITC. Point number 1. Point number 2, you can you can simply reverse 50% of the ITC. Now, any rough idea that the banking company, the major income of the banking company would be the interest or something else? What would be the major portion of the banking company? Major portion क्या banking company का? Interest income. Now you tell me, and almost data suggests that 80-90% income are exempted by way of interest. Now tell me, will the interest be considered as exempt for the purpose of reversal of common ITC? क्या इंटरेस्ट को मुझे कंसिडर करना है फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ रिवर्सल ऑफ कॉमन आईटीसी? Answer is no. Normally no. Answer is normally no. But if this is the case, then what will happen? Bank will never use 50%. Bank will always go to the rule 42. Why I am saying so? Because if interest are not required reversal, so 90% of income are exempted of interest. तो उसके ऊपर अगर रिवर्स नहीं करना, now they have to reverse only 10%. They would be very in the beneficial position, and therefore, as correctly told by Geet, therefore, please read this line carefully. The word except. They are saying explanation one says that you are not required to reverse the interest, reverse the ITC for interest. But if you are the banking company, financial institution, NBFC, then this relaxation will not be applicable. क्या मतलब हुआ इसका कि ये relaxation applicable नहीं होगा? तो इसका मतलब क्या है? What does it means? The reversal will not be applicable. What does it means? Requesting everyone to give the answer. I have made the chat intentionally to the host and co-host so that I can see other can also participate. क्या मतलब हुआ कि बैंकिंग कंपनी को रिवर्स करना है या बैंकिंग कंपनी को रिवर्स नहीं करना है? In case of the banking company, this interest would be treated as exempt supply or taxable supplies. Will this interest be reversed? The corresponding ITC will be reversed in case of the banking company, yes or no? Answer is yes. See, normally the exempt supply will not include the interest. But if you are the banking company, then your interest will be treated as exempted for the purpose of reversal. So tell me finally tell me. So most of the bank, so bank for banking company, which option is better? 50% reversal or rule 42-43? Which option is better? आपको क्या लगता है कि बैंकिंग कंपनी के लिए कौन सा ऑप्शन बेनिफिशियल होगा? 50% या रूल 42-43? The answer is 50%. Why 50%? Because if the banking company will go by the rule 42-43, then they have to reverse the ITC normally 80-90% because of interest, which is treated as exempted. Now you have given the calculation. This is the example. You read the example and then tell me how much ITC need to be reversed. The total ITC is 1,20,000. 50,000 is input, 30,000 is input service, 40,000 is capital goods. If I am a banking company and I am following the section 17 subsection 4 read with rule 38, how much ITC I need to reverse? Assume that not opted for rule 40 to 43. They are going straight forward by 50%. So will it be? Give me the answer. Everyone are requested. I have only received one answer from Geet. Saminathan, Ankit, Dharmendra Shukla, Sanjay, Chitra, everyone are requested to give the reply. Now, this is the total ITC. If the bank is going by the 17 subsection 4, not by 17.2, that is 50%. How much amount of ITC need to be reversed by the banks? Giving you 1 minute. And if I say the Geet, if the answer is not correct, then rethink it and then give me the answer once again. Oh, very nice. Ankit, Chitra, Sanjay, very nice. 9. Still, so I think Chitra, you are saying the balance ITC which is available. That from that angle, the answer is right. Sanjay, the if I say the total ITC is 120, total ITC is 120, and he is going by the 50%. So otherwise 60 to chala gaya, right? That would not be the answer. Total ITC of input and input service remaining reversed. Okay, fine. Now you all know that this restriction will not apply in one case. This restriction will not apply in one case. What is the case? The taxes paid by one registered person to the another registered person. The taxes paid by one registered person to the another registered person. The ITC on the input service include one invoice raised by the bank, same bank having the GST component of 20. Out of 30,000, how much ITC does not require the reversal? That 20. So अगर total ITC 120 है, out of which 20 does not require the reversal, then how much amount of the ITC would attract reversal? 1 lakh. 1 lakh का कितना reverse करना है? 50%. कितना reverse करना है? 50%. So the ITC which need to be reversed is 50,000, and the ITC, remaining ITC which is available, I can say 120 minus 50, so 70 would be available. Everyone is clear? I hope everyone is clear. Very simple. Great. Correct. Now let's enter into the rule 42. Quickly tell me why I will apply the rule 42. Quickly tell me why I will apply the rule 42. Why one will apply, why any taxpayer would require to apply the rule 42. Okay, correct. Sanjay has given the answer. Geet has given the answer. Correct. So it is because of Ankit has also given the answer. Absolutely correct. All three are correct. Point is, if I am making exempted and taxable supplies, or see, one is if my outward supply is exempted or taxable. Second, if the use of the ITC is business and other than business. दो रीजन है. पहला रीजन क्या है कि मैं यूज कर रहा हूं बिजनेस और नॉन बिजनेस के लिए 17 सबसेक्शन 1. दूसरा कहता है कि अगर मैं सप्लाई टैक्सेबल और एग्जिम्प्ट करूं तो कॉमन क्रेडिट विच इज बीइंग यूज्ड फॉर दीज टू ट्रांजैक्शन need to be reversed proportionately. How new reversal would happen? That we will discuss in the rule 42. So for understanding the rule 42, I have made one chart. What is that? It is, everyone knows. Assume that you have the total ITC-T. So now I'm going to apply the rule 42. Everyone is requested to see and deeply understanding, because you have to solve one practical case study on the rule 42. Okay. Now, what is the total ITC? Total ITC means adding everything, whether it is used for exempted supply, whether it is used for taxable supplies, whether it is used for business purpose, non-business purpose, block credit, every type of the ITC you will add. Okay. After adding the ITC, we will now give the coloring to the sum category. Means, first you calculate the total ITC, rule 42 giving the name as T, total input tax credit. Out of the T, you are giving the name T1, T2, T3, T4, C1, C2, some name, 4 name is giving. T1, T2, T3, T4. What is the T1? Now, tell me one thing before that. One common question I'm asking for the purpose of understanding. So this building is I have taken on rent. I'm also making two supply. One is exempted, one is taxable. I have the property, this property on rent, of which I'm paying the GST. Now this building is completely used for taxable supplies. Now you tell me, do I need to reverse the ITC of this rent? क्या मुझे ITC reverse करना of this component? The rent, the building, which is used for taxable supplies only. Do I need to reverse? The answer is no. Very nice, Chitra Samyanathan Geet. Give me the one more answer. Let's say from this building, I am making the taxable supplies. Another building I have taken, another office is there, another factory is there, from which I am making only exempt supply. My question to all of you, The building which is completely used for exempt supplies. Do I need to reverse some ITC? Full ITC is available. None of the ITC is available. Nothing will be available. One building which is on rent, factory taken on rent, used for completely exempted supplies. Do I need to reverse the proportionate ITC? Do I need to reverse full ITC? मतलब nothing is eligible, or full ITC is eligible. वापस मेरा क्वेश्चन सुनिए. Try to understand again. One more building I have which is used for completely exempted supply, and this building I'm used completely taxable supplies. The rent paid on another building which is used for completely exempt supplies. Do I need to reverse some ITC? Full ITC is available or nothing is available? It is only talking about rent or paid on that building which is completely used for exempt supply. So now I have understood that most of the participant has given the correct answer. Now tell me one thing, Sanjay, Chitra, Samyanathan, Ankit, Geet, everyone. Can I say that if any portion of ITC which are exclusively used for taxable supplies, then complete ITC is available? Can I say this? Point number one, please confirm. Can I say this कि अगर किसी गुड्स और सर्विस का यूज, if any goods or services are completely used for exclusively taxable supplies, full ITC is available? Second point, answer is yes. Second point, any portion of goods or service which is used for exclusively exempt supplies, then I can say that nothing is available. Nothing, no ITC is available. Can I say this? Sanjay, business is same, right? Business is same, no doubt about that. Still, I'm saying that to that extent, if you can give the coloring to the ITC, now try to understand. We are entering into the rule 42. If you are giving the coloring to the ITC, exclusively taxable, exclusively exempted, then in that case, there is no requirement of reversal of ITC. If it is exclusively for taxable, then no ITC available if it is completely used for exempted. Now, this part we have to discuss. It says that correct, correct. Now, four name T1, T2, T3, T4. If you are using ITC exclusively for non-business activity, would you be entitled to take some ITC of this? Answer is no. Out of the total ITC, what you are giving the coloring, you are giving the label for four type of the transaction. Exclusively for non-business activity, give the name T1. Exclusively for exempt supply, give the name T2. If it is complete block credit, give the name T3. Completely used for taxable supplies, give the name T4. अगर मैं T1, T2, T3, T4 हटा देता हूं, if I will remove that T1, T2, T3, T4, if I will remove that T1, T2, T3, T4, Can I say that the sum total of T1, T2, T3, T4 is equal to T? Can I say अगर मैं T से T1, T2, T3, T4 हटा दूंगा तो there would be zero? Can I say this? वापस समझिए whether I have excluded, whether I have reduced the ITC which is exclusively used for non-business, for exempted, for block, or for taxable. Can't we say that there would be some common ITC might be there? ये बात समझिए एक बार. This is important point for creating the base for the rule 42. If I will remove T1, T2, T3, T4, these four items are exclusively, only, directly linked to that particular type of the supply. Now, if I will remove T1, T2, T3, T4 from the total ITC, it means there would be some common ITC. There would be some common ITC which is used for taxable and exempt supply, which is used for business and non-business activity, on which I will apply the reversal that we will discuss in the rule 42. What does it mean? It means that T1, T2, T3, T4 is not total T, assuming there would be some common ITC. T1, T2, T3, T4 हटाने के बाद में भी कुछ बैलेंस बचेगा, and that balance will be called as common credit C2. That balance will be called as common credit C2. क्या करना है C2 का? Now the C2 is the portion of ITC. C2 is the portion of input tax credit which need to be apportioned in the ratio of exempt and taxable supplies. So C2 multiplied by E divided by F. Now simply tell me, I have the common ITC of 10,000. I have the exempt supply of 2 lakh and I have the taxable supplies of 3 lakh. एक बार quickly calculate करना and tell me how much is the D1. मैंने exempt supply कितना का? Exempt supply कितना का? How much I have told exempt supply? हाँ, मैं एक बार रिपीट कर देता हूं. Exempt supply is 2 lakh, taxable supplies is 3 lakh. ठीक है. And then my common ITC is 20,000. Is my common ITC is 20,000. Then you tell me how much ITC we need to apportion. Reverse. Exempt is 2 lakh. Taxable is 3 lakh. The figure is changed. Or same. I don't know. Now take this figure. 2 lakh is exempt supplies. 3 lakh is taxable supplies. And common ITC is 20. So if I'm saying common ITC, it means it is C2. Yes. D1 would be 12,000. Not D1 would be 12,000. Okay. So mostly all you have calculated the D1 as 8,000. So what is C2? C2 is the 20,000. What is E? E is the exempt supply. What is the F? Quickly tell me what is the F in this example. F क्या है? Right. Yes. Everyone is given the correct answer. Chitra, Geet, Samyanathan, Ankit, Sanjay. F is not the taxable supply. F is the exempt plus taxable means total supply की बात करता है. It which is in my example what is? In my example what is the amount of F? Answer is 5 lakh. So you have done this 2 divided by 5 into exempt supplies. Now this D1, would you be able to take D1 or would you require to reverse D1? आपको करना क्या D1 का? Will you take the D1 का amount or will you reverse the D1 का amount? Reverse D1, right? You will do the reversal of D1. Now, suppose if you are using some ITC for business and non-business, will there be any turnover of business and will there be any turnover from non-business? Like this, we have made apportionment in the ratio of exempt and taxable supplies. Will there be quantification for business and non-business activity? Will there be any sale for the business and non-business activity? Answer is no. Non-business and business, there will be no corresponding sale. So will it be quantifiable? Answer is no, it is not quantifiable. So simply they are saying they will assume the 5% of the ITC, common ITC is being used. 5% of the common ITC is being used for the purpose of non-business activity. So what is saying? C2 multiplied by 5% D2. So again, question is same. Will you take the ITC of D2 or will you reverse the ITC of D2? Ankit. Acha, Ankit, I'll give you the example. Fine. Reverse D1, D2. I'll give the example. I was given the example in the last class or last to last class. What is the example of D2? This building is on rent. I'm paying the rent 18,000 per month. This building is being used for my taxable supplies, but in the morning and in the evening, I'm giving to the older people to carry out or to give the, I'm giving the permission to use this building to one NGO which is carrying the activity of yoga to the older people. This building also attached have one big playground which I'm giving on evening to one NGO they are using for playing their kids. The building which I'm paying on rent, on which I'm paying rent, is being used completely for business purpose? No, it is being used partly for business and partly for non-business. I have the 3 floor paying on the rent, but top floor I am staying with my family and balance 2 floor is being used for my taxable supplies. The total rent is 18,000 GST part. Can I take the ITC of the 18,000? No, because third floor I am using for the non-business activity. But here I can clearly identify there are 3 portions and this is entirely common ITC. Still, I am not required to reverse as per the area, floor size, nothing. They are simply saying 5%. Is it clear, Ankit? And everyone. Simply giving the example of non-business activity. ठीक है. ठीक है ना? So because it is not quantifiable and because it is very subjective, therefore they are simply saying reverse 5%. That's it. So total ITC which you need to reverse is 42, 43, D1 plus D2. Do you agree with this? D1 and D2 is the total ITC which need to be reversed. Now one good exercise. Please note that this question answer is not given on directly. Now tell me, how much ITC would be available? How much eligible ITC would be there? Can you tell me in terms of formula? The formula can be different. You may use C1, C2, D1, D2, T1, T2, or you can say T minus this one, whatever. मुझे तो आप बताइए कि कितना आईटीसी एलिजिबल होगा इस बिजनेस का in terms of the formula. You can use any backward calculation like addition, or you can do the forward calculation like subtraction from the T. I want from you that what is the net ITC which is available to the taxpayer in this example. Oh, very nice. I fully agree with Chitra answer. Let me go to the Geet answer. Geet is saying very true. See, the answer of Chitra, answer of Geet are different, but both are correct. So that is the reason I told you that there could be the multiple way to give my answer. Sanjay, let's see, Sanjay. Sanjay, you need to so fully agree with your statement, but you need to tell me in the terms of the formula. T1, T2, T3, C1, C2, whatever. एक आंसर आया मेरे पास में C2 माइनस D1. नहीं 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 नहीं, ये तो ठीक है. मतलब out of the common ITC, this is the net ITC which is eligible out of the common portion. Now I'm saying for the entire business, considering all T, how much ITC will you take? Will you eligible? This is the total eligible ITC out of the common portion. But I'm talking about the entire business, how much ITC would be available. So again, try everyone. So Sanjay, Anket, Samyanath and Yogesh, I like to see the answer. Dharmendra Shukla, you are not giving any reply. Everything is okay? Able to understand? Chitra, Geet, Ankit, can there be different way to give your answer? You have given some answer. I'm asking, can there be one more way? Because I can see the two correct answer, but both are different. Just think and tell me, could you say your answer in the different formula? Okay, Geet has given both the answer. Okay, right. Correct, 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 correct. Very true. Very true. Correct. ठीक है. ठीक है. Now you all are correct. Let me explain the answer. Will this ITC be available? No. Will this ITC be available? No. Will this ITC be available? No. Will this ITC be available? Yes. One thing I can say, whatever C3 comes out of the common ITC, C3 is the portion of the ITC which is available. Add C3 plus T4. This is correct answer. One. Right? एक बार सभी लोग confirm करना. This is correct answer, right? So I can say C3 plus T4 is the correct answer. First. Correct now. Next is I have calculated C1 by removing these three only. By removing these three, correct? And then C1 include the T4? Yes. Out of the C1, if I will reduce the D1 and D2, I can say this would be the second answer. अगर मैं C1 से D1 और D2 को हटा दूं, if I will remove D1 and D2 from C1, then it will also give me the correct answer. Am I right? कुछ छूटा तो नहीं है? Anything left? कुछ छूटा नहीं है ना? करेक्ट. करेक्ट. तो D1 D2 मुझे रिवर्स करना है. So in straightforward, what I can say, T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus D1 and D2. This is the total ITC which is not available. So out of the T, I can say these 5 items if we'll remove, then the balance would be available. So thank you. Great, great, great. Thank you. Thank you everyone for participation. Let's read this particular name again. If you have the clarity, if you need the clarification, take a break of 10 minutes. You can read this statement, and then after that we will do the case study after the break of 10 minutes. ठीक है, अशोक जी start कर दीजिए break. Meanwhile, you are requested all to read this, and then we will start the question. which we will read and then we'll move to the practical problem. T1, T2, T3, T4 shall be determined and declared by the registered person at the summary level in GSTR 3B. Where the registered person does not have any turnover during the said tax period or the aforesaid information is not available, the value of E and F shall be calculated based on the last tax period for which the details are available. Amount C3, D1, D2 shall be computed separately for CGST, SGST, UTGST separately and declared in 3B or through DRC3. If the amount equal to D1, D2, the amount equal to D1, D2 shall be reversed by the taxpayer in the 3B or DRC03. Now, let me read the question, explain the question, and then I will wait for 5 or 10 minutes. You need to calculate. Publishing company is registered in Delhi and selling the books. Books are exempted in the GST and also providing the business support service like editing work to the holding company located out of India. Assume that it is export of service. Qualify all the condition of export of service. So in this, can I say, just confirm yes or no, can I say that this particular publishing company is making the taxable supplies as well as exempt supply? Oh, Sanjay, you have asked one question. Just complete this problem and I will take your problem, your query. Okay. Now, if we purchase the books, then can I say the books are exclusively linked to the selling of the books? And therefore, it is exclusively used for exempt supply. Similarly, rent, assume that rent is a common portion, means we are using for books ka selling and we are using for export of service. Consultancy charges, again, it will be the common. Author payment, author will do the book writing, right? So therefore, payment of the author is exclusively toward the exempt supply. Car purchase, assume that it is up to 13 seater. Kya karna, you tell me. Purchase of the software for editing work of the holding company. Now you tell me whether it is T1, T2, T3, T4. Repair and maintenance of the building which is debited to the profit and loss account. You know what does it means? कि अगर मैंने डेबिट किया प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को, then what does it means? Total amount. Now tell me, first you need to calculate the T1, T2, T3, T4. ठीक है? And then you have the sale ka figure and then you need to calculate the D1, D2, how much the ITC need to be reversed. For this question, please assume that there is no use of any ITC for non-business purpose. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? The D2 will not come and similarly T1 will not be there. Assume in this case study that there is no use in the non-business activity. So by I have explained everything. Now you need to calculate every component. T1 kitna, T2 kitna, T3 kitna, T4 kitna, C1 kitna, C2 kitna, D1 kitna, D2 kitna, and then finally the total ITC eligible or total ITC reversed. You please start, take 10 minutes. You can take 10 minutes and then you can give me the answer. Meanwhile, you give the answer. I'm sitting here only. Give the answer. I will check. I'm here only and I will see whatever the answer. See, suppose you have calculated one component. Give me the answer in the chat. sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. I need from each one of you 5 T, T1, T2, T3, T4, 3C, C1, C2, C3, 2D, D1, D2, and in the last, what is the net ITC which I can take? Total 11 answer I need from you on this question. I'm just not disturb you for 10 minutes and then I will start the discussion. So fine, let's take 5 minutes. So you have given some answer T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay, let's calculate. Let's calculate 5 minutes. Do you agree with this? Ki that total ITC will be this much amount. The T would be this. Do you agree with this? T. I am only asking T. Do you agree with this? Jitra bhi total ITC. That is the total ITC. The total ITC is 1,54,500. डू यू एग्री विद दिस? एक बार आंसर कीजिए मेरे को, टी का आंसर कीजिए मेरे को. जस्ट सिंपली गिव मी द आंसर फॉर टी. टी. जस्ट सिंपली गिव मी द आंसर फॉर टी. Very nice answer. Now let me go and see. Definition of the, can we say the motor car is capital goods? Can we say the motor car is capital goods in the GST? Can we say the motor car is the capital goods in the GST? Now read the definition. The value of which is capitalized in the books of the person claiming the input tax credit. Goods, the value on which is capitalized in the books claiming the ITC. Such goods are intended to be used. Are you claiming the ITC on that capital goods? Are you claiming the ITC on the capital asset? No, I'm not calculating. The total ITC, see, fine, no problem. Okay, then what about the T1? No problem. What about the T1? What is the T1? What about the T1? So you agree with this that T1 is 0? T1 is 0. Correct? What is the T2? What is the T2? What is the T2? T2 is the ITC which is used for exempted supply. I can say that one is author payment exclusively used for exempt supply. Author का payment is being used for exclusively exempt supply. Is there any other things which is used? क्या आंसर आया आपका T2? What is the T2? What is the T2? What is the T2? Everyone is saying correct. 7,200. 7,200. Now T3. Now you can treat this as a not a fine, no problem. You have understood that as a capital goods. Please treat the same as a food and beverages. Please treat as food and beverages. Or please treat renting of the car up to 13-seater. Assume that for the timing, just to make the completely 42. So that was a mixed problem. No problem. Let me change that particular word for you. So it will be ease. We are making completely for 42 only. So instead of same, I am saying that renting of the car. Okay. Now can I say that what is the T3? I think now you agree with, everyone will be agree. What is the T3? T3. Can I say that 60,000 will be the T3 or any other amount also? What is the T3? Considering this, what will be the T3? T3. Assume that it is GST paid on renting of the car up to 13-seater. Now it is not capital goods. Correct. Now it become the input service. Now it become the input service. T3. What is the T3? One is 60,000 block credit. Whether the ITC of repair and maintenance of building is also treated as T3 or not. क्या repair and maintenance भी considered as repair and maintenance will also be considered as T3? The answer is no, it will not be treated. Reason? Because it is debited to the profit and loss account. What is the T4? What is the C1? Then calculate and tell me the C1. Calculate and tell me the C1. Calculate and tell me the C1. 87,300 comes. Absolutely correct. Now, what is the T4? What is the T4 in this case? T4 क्या है? Correct. T4 is the ITC exclusively used for taxable supplies. In this question, it is taxable supplies, export or service. So I can say the software which is used for editing, I can say this is exclusively for taxable supplies. So that is the T4. What is the C2? What is the C2? C2. So Sanjay and everyone, is it agree? Samyanathan, Ankit, till now it is clear that T4 would be 9,000. T4 would be 9,000 because it is exclusively used for taxable supplies. What is the C2? You have calculated that 87,300 is the C1 minus 9,000. That is T4. So now the balance amount will comes 78,300 is nothing but the C2. Now calculate, this is the exempt supply, this is the export of service, this is my total. Now you tell me what is the amount of D1. You tell me, you calculate the D1 and tell me D1 क्या आएगा. क्या बात है. Very nice. Very nice. D1 क्या आएगा. C2 I fully agree, Ankit. 78,300. Absolutely correct. Now calculate and tell me the D1. What is the D1? D1 का amount कैसे आएगा? नहीं, एक बार वापस कैलकुलेट कीजिए. गीत करेक्ट and just Chitra correct answer. But I request other participant, please recalculate and tell me how you have calculated. Complete formula. Not give me the answer, just complete formula. नहीं. कितने से multiply? How much you have multiplied? How much amount you have divided? Which amount you have used to multiply? How much and divided? What is the amount numerator denominator? कितना लिया? हाँ, Sanjay right. Absolutely correct. Now the answer is correct. हाँ हाँ करेक्ट करेक्ट वो हो जाता है कैलकुलेशन में. Now tell me, waiting the answer, Saminathan, Ankit, and rest of the participant. So Chitra, Sanjay, Geet, three participant is given the correct answer. D1. What is the amount of the D2? What is the amount of the D2? No D2. Zero. As of now, we have assumed that because it is nothing non-business, so therefore D2 is zero. Now you calculate and tell me out of 1,54,500, out of 154,500, how much is need to be reversed, or you can tell how much ITC will be available. You tell me the total ITC available. So you have calculated the reversal part, total ITC which is available. एक बार फॉर्मूला जरूर बताना मुझे, मतलब कितना आप कैसे कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं. My voice is coming ना? My voice is coming properly? Just एक बार कंफर्म करना. Voice is coming properly? ठीक है. So 78,300 is the C2 and उसमें से मैं भी कैलकुलेट ही कर रहा हूँ. आई एम ऑल्सो कैलकुलेटिंग. प्लस आपने कहा ठीक है. हाँ. सो गीत फुल्ली एग्री विद योर आंसर. चित्रा एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. सो डी करेक्ट. रेस्ट ऑफ द पार्टिसिपेंट. संजय, अंकित, योगेश, समीनाथन. भाई 46,980 क्यों आ रहा है? You are not Sanjay. Please add 9,000 also na. T4. See, out of the common ITC, how much is eligible? It is correct answer. 46,980, it is correct answer. It is C3. Now, if I will say the total eligible ITC for this organization, you will add 9,000 also. Right? Huh? So, Sanjay, correct. Saminathan, that 46,980 plus add 9,000. Okay. So, now see the answer. See the answer. If you have any doubt, you may ask. Just see the answer in 2 to 3 minutes. Any doubt, any question? Just read one or just give see 1 or 2 minute max, then we will move further. Fine. Shall I move? Now we'll read one circular, 1 2 circular, and then we'll 214. Very nice circular. पहले एक बार 195 कंप्लीट करते हैं. फर्स्ट वी विल कंप्लीट 195, देन विल मूव टू द 214. Circular 195 giving the clarity on availability of ITC in respect to the warranty, replacement of the part and repair service during the warranty period. So Sanjay, you asked, sorry Sanjay, मैं आपका क्वेश्चन भूल गया, right? हाँ, you have asked one question. See, you have asked the question when I was on break. तो एक बार आपके क्वेश्चन को सभी को पेस्ट कर देता हूँ. I will post in everyone name. ठीक है ना? I will post to everyone so that everyone can see and then we can discuss, or I can give the answer. So I don't know about the income tax at all, but whatever you have given the matlab ki text or provision. Oh, it's not going here. So let me read that provision. Sanjay is saying whether ITC. So you treat this question to all. Whether ITC would be available on capital goods purchased by the taxable person availing 44AD option under income tax. So please note, I am not knowing anything about the income tax, but Sanjay has quoted the provision also. Based on that, I will share my understanding, but I will ask first you to give the answer. It says that 44AD says that WDV of any asset shall be deemed to have been calculated as if the SSE had claimed and actually being allowed deduction in respect of depreciation. तो हम क्या करेंगे, हम ये मान लेंगे कि जो 44AD क्या कह रहा है कि we will deemed that he has taken the depreciation. Now you all tell me what would be your view कि whether ITC would be available or ITC would not be available. हाँ राइट संजय देना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो मैं कुछ नहीं जानता यार, मुझे तो मालूम ही नहीं 44AD. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं मतलब पढ़ा नहीं था, बट बिकॉज सिंस 8 year आई एम एक्सक्लूसिवली इनटू द GST and that is the reason यार. So now you tell me what is the answer for as per your understanding. So let me repeat the question. Actually मैं copy नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, else I will give the answer. So Sanjay, can you post your question in everyone? Can you copy your question and paste it to the everyone? Because I am unable to do the copy paste, maybe the some security reason or this particular. क्या आप अपने क्वेश्चन को कॉपी करके पेस्ट कर सकते हैं सभी में? यू आर ऑल्सो अनेबल टू कॉपी. ठीक है, कोई सिक्योरिटी होगा. एनीवे, नो प्रॉब्लम. लेट मी रीड वंस अगेन. Whether ITC, I am reading the question, whether ITC would be available on the capital goods purchased by the taxable person availing the 44AD option under income tax. He says that 44AD WDV of any asset shall be deemed to have been calculated as if the SSC had claimed and actually being allowed deduction in part of the depreciation. Correct. So Sanjay, I can give the subjective answer. First, in the GST, there is no interlinking with the income tax for the ITC chapter with respect to capital goods. Correct. So, if I have taken the ITC of the GST part, then I will not allowed to take the depreciation, or vice versa. If you are assuming that on the total value depreciation has been taken, whatever you have written the language, by which I can say my understanding comes that you have taken the depreciation on total value including GST. If this is the case, 16 subsection 3 of the CGST Act will come into the picture, which says that you can take the ITC. You cannot take the ITC in this case because you have total capitalized and total depreciation, taken the total depreciation. ठीक है, ये मेरा आंसर होगा. This would be my answer. Any point? So correct. Ankit, as you told that it is a presumptive scheme, I think ITC will not be available. Correct. So again, Sanjay, Gaurav, Sanjay, and everyone, Geet, everyone, I can say that there is no interlinking provision of income tax of section 44AD with the ITC chapter. Only point you remember, and if you are not sure, in some time in the exam, if you are not sure, then give your assumption. Sometime if you are not sure, give your assumption. It will help a lot. Okay. Now, circular 195, let's read. Clarification on availability of the ITC in respect to the warranty, replacement of the part and repair, etc. There are the cases where OEM, original equipment manufacturer, offer the warranty to the customer and provide the replacement or repair services. See, very nice circular. Replacement or the repair service during the warranty period. हाँ, वारंटी का रिप्लेसमेंट का आईटीसी मिलेगा, one line. But they've given the permutation combination, which might be important for your exams. That's the reason we need to read in detail. During the warranty period, without charging any additional consideration, whether GST would be payable on the replacement or the repair without any consideration from the customer. Now, first give the answer based on your understanding. Based on your understanding, give the answer. Whether OEM, when जहाँ पे OEM offer करता है warranty to the customer and provide the replacement repair service without any consideration, will the GST be payable on that particular replaced part? Will the GST be payable on the replaced part? Not read the clarification or reply given by the CBSA. The answer is the value of the original supply of the goods provided along with warranty. Provided along with warranty by the manufacturer to the customer include the likely cost of the replacement of the part and or repair services to be incurred during the warranty period on which tax has already been paid at the time of the original supply. So therefore, जब भी मैं वारंटी के अंदर पार्ट को रिप्लेस कर रहा हूं, when I'm doing the replacement of the part without any consideration, then in that case there is no additional GST payable. If any no additional GST payable. However, if you're charging some additional consideration, then to that extent you will charge the GST on that. Second question. एक मिनट दीजिए, मैं आपको ना आंसर डिलीट कर रहा हूं एंड आई एम जस्ट पेस्टिंग इट सेपरेटली so that you can apply your mind and then give your answer. Just allow me 1 minute. Now tell me, what is your view? Whether in such cases the warranty is required, manufacturer is required to reverse the ITC in respect to the replacement of the part or repair service as a part of the warranty for which there is no additional consideration is charged. अब वो वैल्यू कुछ भी नहीं ले रहा, तो आपने कहा इसके ऊपर जीएसटी नहीं देना है. In that case, whether is required to reverse the ITC? Why? Just tell me one or two line, one or two sentence or one or two word suffice. Why no ITC reversal? I can say that somehow I can say the warranty जब दी थी तब additional consideration, मतलब उस टाइम consideration अगर लिए, जो भी cost of value, जो भी value charge की है, which include the estimated amount of the warranty cost of the supply include the replacement part, correct? In such case, the value of the original supply to the customer by the manufacturer include the likely cost of the replacement. Therefore, these supply cannot be considered as exempted and accordingly, no requirement of reversal of ITC. Question number 3. Whether GST would be payable on replacement of the part or repair services provided by a distributor without any consideration. Provided by a distributor as a part of the warranty to the customer on behalf of the manufacturer. तो मान लो आप मैन्युफैक्चरर हो, मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर हूं. You have giving मतलब you have given the goods to me. I have supplied the goods to my customer. Now that goods was under warranty. Now Now I am providing the parts replacement or repair services as a part of the warranty to my customer. Do I need to pay the GST on that? Same answer. No GST is payable as distributor purchase the goods which include the cost of replacement, so no payable, no reversal. Correct. तो अभी हम payable की बात करें तो you will say because I being a distributor not charging any additional consideration to my customer, so there is no GST payable at my end. You can read that no consideration is being charged by the distributor, no GST would be payable. अगर additional consideration charge करूंगा तो GST payable होगा. Correct. Now, in the above scenario, whether any supply is involved between distributor and manufacturer, and whether the distributor would be required to reverse the ITC of such replacement part. Now, there would be 2-3 scenarios. Let me read one by one. Where the distributor replace the part either by using his own stock or by purchasing from third party and charges the consideration from the manufacturer by issuing the tax invoice. In such case, GST would be payable by the distributor and the manufacturer would be entitled to avail the ITC subject to other condition, no reversal by the distributor. Very simple. Now, I have done the replacement of the part. From where I have done the replacement? Either from my own stock or I have taken from third party. So when I have taken from third party will raise the tax invoice to me. I will be able to take ITC. I am also raising the tax invoice to the manufacturer. Then I will pay the GST on this transaction and my manufacturer would be entitled to take ITC. No reversal is required. ये वाला केस क्लियर है? केस नंबर 1 is clear, right? केस नंबर 1 is clear, right? करेक्ट. हाँ, अब केस 2 में पढ़ते हैं. सेकंड पॉसिबिलिटी क्या है? Where the manufacturer are providing such part to the distributor during without separately charging any consideration at the time of the replacement. अब क्या कर रहा है? दूसरा ऑप्शन. So I am not using my own stock. I am not purchasing from outside. What I have did, the manufacturer has sent the goods replace part to me, and that part, which part I have used for the warranty during the warranty. Then whether manufacturer is required to charge the GST, the goods which he sent to me, answer is no. He is not required to charge the GST. Again, the point is same. That whatever the estimated value of the goods being taken at the time of original supply include the estimated replacement cost, meaning thereby the part which he is giving is already paid the GST. Therefore, there is no additional GST payable at the time of giving the goods by the manufacturer to the distributor, and also manufacturer is not required to reverse the ITC. ITC reverse नहीं करना ना. Whether ITC required to be reversed by the manufacturer on such goods which is given free of cost to the distributor? Reverse करना है? Answer is no. Answer is no. Correct. Now, third, when the distributor replaces the part out of the supply already received by him and manufacturer issue the credit note. Accordingly, the tax liability may be adjusted by the manufacturer. Just allow me 1 minute. Accordingly, the tax liability may be adjusted by the manufacturer subject to the condition that said distributor has reversed the ITC availed against the part so replaced. Any doubt, please ask. Last question, give me the answer. And then we'll take the break of again 5-7 minutes. We'll take the break of 5-7 minutes and we'll resume at 9 o'clock. when the distributor provide the repair and services in addition to the replacement without any consideration as a part of the warranty or on behalf of the manufacturer but charge the manufacturer for such repair either by tax invoice or debit note whether GST would be payable? Answer would be yes, and he would be entitled to take ITC. Sometimes the company offers the extended warranty to the customer, which can be availed at the time of supply. Whether GST would be payable in both the cases? Quickly say yes or no. The answer is yes, GST would be payable on that extended warranty also. Correct. Now let's move to the one more circular that we need to discuss. That is 214. So circular 214, I like to read from the circular 214. So what is the question? Try to understand the question. Ki the amount of the insurance premium which is not included in the taxable value as per the rule 32.4 applicable for the life insurance business shall be treated as pertaining to a non-taxable supply or exempt supply for the purpose of reversal of common ITC. Read with the rule 42-43. Now you tell me what is the rule 32 sub rule 4? Just in short, can you give me what is the rule 32 sub rule 4? And then we will discuss ki what is the valuation rule 32 sub rule 4? So rule 32 sub rule 4 says that investment part not added in the value, risk cover added in the value, dual benefit policy condition. So in that case, what I can say is that, okay, if it is single insurance premium, then what is the value? Single insurance premium, then what is the value? What is the value? 10%. Correct? And if it is not covered in single annuity or investment separate ULIP, it is not single, then what would be the value for the first year? What would be the value for the first year? What would be the value for the first year? The 25%. 25%. And second year onwards, it will be 12.5%. So the question comes कि that first year जो 25% प्रीमियम है जिसके ऊपर जीएसटी पे होता है, the total 25% of the premium on which GST would be paid. What about the 75%? Would the 75% be considered as non-taxable supply? Would the 75 be considered as exempt supply? Therefore, it requires the reversal of 75% of ITC. Just quick answer. Just quick answer. To the extent of 75%, because he is paying the GST on 25%. To the extent of 75%, do they need to reverse the ITC? Answer is, they have explained the life insurance business. They have explained the rule 32.4. I'm not going into that particular detail. So let me share again. Just give me. So to the extent of 75%, are they require the reversal? Answer is no. This is not considered as exempt supply. So the word exempt supply has been defined in the GST, three limbs: exempted by notification, nil rated, and non-GST. It is none of them. And non-taxable supplies were also explained, not leviable to tax. So being the 75% portion, being the 75%, it is not considered as exempt supply. Therefore, no reversal is required in this case. Okay. So they have given the definition. Circular has given the definition of 247 and then section 278. It is mentioned that there is no doubt about the taxability of the supply, the service of providing life insurance by the insurance company to the insured, but the only issue is regarding the treatment. They have explained in detail, and last they have concluded in view. It is clarified that amount of the premium of taxable life insurance policies, which is not included in the taxable value, cannot be considered as non-taxable supply or exempt supply, and therefore there is no requirement of reversal of ITC as per the rule 40 to 43. Now this concept can be applied at anywhere else also, correct? There would be the various valuation provision, rule 32, sub rule 2, sub rule 3, sub rule 4. Okay, circular 195 we have clarified. Now we'll see rule 43 we will do in the next class, correct? And let's read with the section 18. We will start with the section 18. You all can see section 18 in the screen. Now section 18 is availability of the credit in special circumstances. Now first point, why the section 18 is required? Why they are saying the special circumstances? Any basic idea that मुझे section 18 का requirement क्या है? Why I will avail the ITC through section 18? Why not normal provision? हाँ, clear, correct. Because at the time of the transaction, the recipient is not registered person. At the time of the transaction, so when I purchase, I am not registered. What is the 16 subsection 1 subsection 2 says? I should be registered. See the definition of IT's input tax credit. It should be registered person, right? Section 2 clause 63 and 62. So because at the time of the purchase, I am not registered, but within 30 days, I am taking the registration or I become liable. So the stock which is purchased at the time of not registered, I was not registered. So the transaction are not coming in 2A, 2B. There would be no tax invoice having my GST number. How to take the ITC? Because if the goods are in my stock and I will sell, I will pay the GST to the government. But what about my ITC? Section 18 says that you can take the input tax credit in that case. How? Let's read. Subsection 1 says that four situation, you are entitled to take ITC. Just try to remember the four provision. If I have taken mandatory registration within 30 days, if I have taken voluntarily registration, exempt supply become taxable supplies, exempt supply become taxable supply, or I have switched from composition to regular. These are the four. Let's repeat again. First is mandatory registration. Second is voluntarily registration. Third is composition to regular. Fourth is exempt to taxable. In these four cases, you are allowed to take the ITC. ITC on input or input service or capital goods or all. We will read. See, there are three components: input, input service, capital goods. If you have taken the registration within 30 days, then whatever the stock which is available in respect of input only, can you claim the ITC of capital goods? No. Can you claim the ITC of input service? No. If you have taken the registration within 30 days, you would be entitled to claim the ITC of the stock. On which date? That is important. In case of mandatory registration, the day immediately preceding the date on which he become liable to pay the tax. And in case of the voluntarily, the day immediately preceding the date on the grant of the registration. So mandatory में क्या है? जो stock आपके पास में कब था? You have the stock on the date of liability, मतलब 30 दिन पुराना. And in case of the voluntary registration, the day of grant of registration, उसके immediately preceding जो भी stock है उसका ITC मिलेगा. Clause A and the clause B. You can take the ITC of only on the input. Third, composition to regular. Now, if you become regular, then will you pay the tax as per actual rate? Answer is yes. Whatever the tax is lying on my stock, I will pay the rate which is leviable. In the composition, I will pay the lower rate, like 1%, 5%, or 6%. But in case if I have converted from composition to regular, I will pay the actual tax rate, and assuming that tax rate is with ITC. In that case, I would be entitled to take the ITC on the goods input and capital goods also. My dear friend, point to be noted that I would be entitled to take ITC of capital goods also here, and of which date? Preceding the date on which he become liable to pay the tax under regular category. Section 9. Where an exempt supply become taxable supply, same shall be entitled to take the ITC on the input held in stock and capital goods. That's it. Again, one proviso would be there: the capital goods ka ITC shall be reduced proportionately. Proportionately means 5% per quarter. Suppose I have purchased the machine and after 1 year I have converted from composition to regular. I have purchased the machine on which GST was, let's say, 10,000. After 1 year, I have converted from composition to regular. So can I take the ITC of entire 10,000? No. You need to reduce the ITC of the capital goods, that is 10,000, by 1 year. 1 year का percentage क्या करूंगा? 5% per quarter. So I can say 5, 5, 5, 5. 20% I will reduce. So 10,000 minus 20%, the balance 80% would be available. Is that clear? Quickly confirm. Is that clear? Coming, Geet, coming to your question. So a registered person shall not be entitled to take ITC under subsection 1. On all these, you are not entitled if that 1 year has been expired. 1 year would be counted from the date of issue of invoice relating to supply. So it means whatever the ITC you are claiming on the stock, that stock should not be older than 1 year. Suppose you purchase the capital goods 2 years back. Would you be entitled to take ITC? No. 18 subsection 2 says of 18.1, you are entitled, no doubt, but that stock and not entitled to take ITC under subsection 1 after the expiry of the 1 year from the date of the issue of the invoice. Okay. Sorry. Now the question, Geet has asked the question. See, okay, let me tell you. Fine. So there is a question of mandatory registration, voluntary registration, and date of the liability or etc. See, point number one. Now, say on 1st of October, 1st of September, my turnover crossed the threshold limit. So do I need to take mandatory registration or do I need to take voluntary registration? Give me the answer. On 1st of September, my turnover crossed the threshold limit, 20, 40, whatever the case. In that case, no. Question is correct. No, sir. No. The question is correct, and I'll tell you. So, would you like to repost your question? Change करके कुछ question पूछना है या whatever you will say. So, Sanjay, if my turnover crossed the threshold limit, it means I will qualify under section 22, subsection 1, and I have to take mandatory registration. There is no like optional. Okay. You have added that point. Nice. Thank you. So now you all are saying that I am liable to take mandatory registration, correct? And what is the time limit? Now your question is very, very accurate, Geet. Very accurate. No problem. I got your answer. I got your question. I'll try to. Now suppose you have applied on 26th and your registration has been granted on, let's say, 6th of October. Have you applied within 30 days? Have you applied within 30 days? Try to give the answer for some of my question. Have you applied within 30 days? Okay. Fine. I'll write the dates also on the screen. It would be easy for everyone. First September. This is turnover cross the threshold limit. Okay. Now on 26th September, applied for registration. Is it within time? You all have given yes, within time. On 6th of October, my registration number has been granted. Now tell me, what is the date of liability? What is the date of liability? Date from which you're required to pay the GST. For September, no problem. So you will pay the GST from 1st September. See, let's say second scenario. I have applied the registration on 6th of October, whether it is within time. I'm first talking about the second situation. If I have applied the registration on 6th of October, whether I have applied within time or beyond the time. Late. No, not within time. What does it create the difference? Date of liability will be effective date of registration also. Date of liability will be the effective date of registration provided I have applied within 30 days. I'm talking about the mandatory only. If I have applied after 30 days, then my effective date will be the date of granting of the registration. So I'm not going into that. So what is the provision? What provision says? The provision says that I would be entitled to take the IDC which is immediately preceding the date on which he become liable to pay the tax. Now tell me, in this case, I would be entitled to take the ITC of the stock lying on 30th, 31st August. Is that clear? यहां तक तो सभी को मालूम है. Everyone knows. Date of the granting of the registration. Now the question which Geet has asked, and it become very important. It says that ITC would be available as per section 18. Okay, no doubt, no problem. Now the problem is, I might have purchased the goods or services between these date also, na? I might have purchased the goods and services between these date also. Only goods. 1st to 5th October. 1st September to 5th October. You tell me how I will take the ITC. Whether 18(1) cover, क्या 18(1) cover करता है? Whether 18(1) cover that particular. How I will take the ITC from 1st September to 5th October? Geet, I think this is your question, right? This is what exactly your question. The problem is, it says that stock, section 18(1) says that stock as per section 18(1), it says that whatever the stock lying on that immediately preceding the date of the liability, I will give you the ITC. What about this stock? What about this stock? 18(1) तो cover नहीं करता है, absolutely cover. How I will take the ITC? How I will take the ITC? Just I'm giving you 1 minute. Think. Question is very, very nice. No doubt about that. Now you tell me how the ITC to be taken. See, I would suggest time लीजिए. It's a very nice question. I fully agree with you. I will also take some time. You also take some time. Do the research and we will have the class day after tomorrow. Correct. So can I say that I will not give the answer, Geet? I will intentionally, I'm parking this question so that everyone can try to attempt this question, because this question is really serious, a really valid question. ठीक है. So let's add me in the chart itself. मैं एक बार चार्ट में भी ऐड कर देता हूं, so that in PPT I will add this chart. Geet, I have added this particular question in the slide itself so that we will not forget. And then everyone, Samyant, Sanjay, Chitra, Ankit, Yogesh, everyone, do some research, give me the answer. I also like to add one more point. Read 31 subsection 3 clause A, concept of revised invoice. Will the concept of revised invoice become here or not? Because that is also creating some confusion. The revised invoice का concept यहाँ पर applicable होगा या नहीं होगा? That is nowhere give the, you will not have the clarity prima facie. Read this question, try to give the answer, keeping into the mind concept of revised invoice. ठीक है. So now next. ठीक है. 18 subsection 3. नहीं संजय, कैसे लेंगे? आप अक्टूबर में कैसे लेंगे रहे? क्योंकि वो आपके 2A to B में तो आएगा नहीं. विल इट कम इन 2A to B? विल द ITC बी कम इन 2A to B फॉर दैट पीरियड? Then how you will take? Correct? So that is the absolutely question. Now, 18.3 says when there is a change in the constitution, when there is a change in the constitution like sale, merger, demerger, amalgamation, lease, transfer of the business, with the specific provision for transfer of the liability, then the registered person shall be allowed to transfer the ITC which remain unutilized in his credit ledger. The registered person shall be allowed to transfer the input tax credit which remain unutilized to the credit ledger to such sold, merged, amalgamated, lease, etc. I hope it is clear. जब भी मैं transfer करूंगा business, then whatever ITC I have, I can allow to transfer that ITC. Registered person will not, who has opted from composition to regular, we have already covered. Now vice versa, regular to composition and taxable to exempt. The registered person who has availed the ITC now opt to pay the tax under section 10, or when the goods or service become completely exempted, he has to pay the ITC by way of the debit in the credit ledger or cash ledger, equivalent to the credit of the ITC in respect of input held in stock, semi finished goods or finished goods. तो क्या है, जितना भी स्टॉक है उसमें जितना भी उसका आईटीसी यूज्ड है, इक्विवेलेंट टू द क्रेडिट ऑफ द आईटीसी इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ दैट स्टॉक, I will pay the amount. See, try to understand it as very nice understanding. So now, because 22nd September, you all know what happened on the 22nd September. What happened on the 22nd September? PPT not visible. What happened on 22nd September? Change in the rate of the taxes. Multiple tax rate has been changed from 18, 12, 5, whatever. Some item are become exempted also, right? Some item are become exempted also, like insurance policies. In that case, the provision of the 18.4 would be applied on them. They are covering the services also. Please note, not only goods, services also, which become complete exempted. Then they need to pay the amount. What amount? By way of the debit in credit or cash ledger, equivalent to the credit of the ITC in respect of input held in stock, semi-finished or finished goods. अगर कोई गुड्स है जिसका आईटीसी लिया तो जितना स्टॉक में उसका इक्विवेलेंट आईटीसी रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा. एंड ऑन कैपिटल गुड्स reduced by such percentage point on the day immediately preceding the date of exercising the option or date of exemption. So 22nd exemption start हुआ. Whatever the stock which is available in hand for raw material WIP and even on finished goods, that is input and capital goods, reduced by such percentage point, 5%, 5% per quarter. The balance of ITC shall lapse. Now you think insurance company, will there be any stock of semi-finished finished goods? Insurance company, क्या उसके पास कोई स्टॉक होगा? नहीं, there would be no stock. Will there be any stock? No, there will be no stock actually. But yes, there would be still the huge accumulation of ITC. Might be because of any services they have taken. So capital goods, there would be possibility. Yes, there would be some capital goods of which they will reverse the proportionate ITC. But what happened to the rest all ITC? It will lapse. Means on the 22nd September opening, there would be no ITC, there would be no ITC, or there would be some ITC. Now tell me, I'm a service provider insurance company. Read the 18 subsection 4 and tell me, my electronic credit ledger should be zero, or my electronic credit ledger should be zero, or it can have some balance. There will be stock, full ITC need to be reversed. There will be capital goods, whether full ITC need to be reversed, no, proportionate. So might be there is a capital goods, the year for which the year, let's say I have used for 6 months or for 1 year, then to the extent of 1 year, there would be the balance in ITC. After that, whatever the balance, that will be lapsed. So to the extent of capital goods, answer would be yes. Now, please do not forget for last 10 minutes, quick round of the question answer. Okay, last 10 minutes, quick round of the question answer. We will have another 10-15 minute ka discussion. We'll do the discussion and last 10 minutes, quick round of the question answer. Okay, just I'm opening the study material. Just 1 minute. एक बार स्टडी मटेरियल भी शेयर कर देता हूँ स्क्रीन पर एंड देन ठीक है. So this part is completed. Block credit we have done now. We are through with the block credit, right? Demo card we have done. PPT I will upload the same. No? By Sunday I will upload the PPT. This is all provision. My PPT would cover all provision. So the whatever we have discussed earlier also, that is being added, and whatever we have covered today, that is also being added. So ये भी हमने कर लिया, right? Self construction कर लिया, apex code का कर लिया. The credit in special circumstances. Now, subsection 6. Let's read subsection 6. Okay. So 18 subsection 6 says that in case of the supply of the capital goods or plant and machinery on which ITC has been taken, okay, the registered person shall pay the amount equal to the ITC taken on the said capital goods or plant and machinery, reduced by such percentage point as may be prescribed, or the tax on the transaction value of such capital goods or plant and machinery, whichever is higher. So if I have used capital goods on which ITC has been taken, I will do the two calculations. First, proportionate ITC, and second is tax payable, whichever is higher. So you mean to say disposal would be considered as on, is it or not? Is it your question? Go to the definition of supply, section 7. Section 7 says that sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, license, rental, or last word क्या था? Disposal. लास्ट वर्ड डिस्पोजल था ना सेक्शन 7 सबसेक्शन 1 में, जो हम क्लॉज ए रीड कर रहे थे. ठीक है, तो इवन डिस्पोजल विल आल्सो बी ट्रीटेड एज सप्लाई. फाइन, इवन डिस्पोजल शैल आल्सो बी ट्रीटेड एज सप्लाई. ठीक है. Now let's it says that provided that where brakes, mold, ICAI fixtures, scrap supplied as scrap, the taxable person may pay the tax on the transaction value. तो उसमें आपको ITC रिवर्स करने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं. Rule 40. The input tax credit claimed in accordance with the provision of 18 subsection 1 on the input held in the stock or input contained in the semi-finished goods or finished goods held in the stock, or the credit claimed on the capital goods in accordance with the clause C and the clause D. Clause C and the clause D क्या था? The exempt become taxable or composition become regular. So the ITC claimed in accordance with the 18(1) on the input held in stock, semi-finished goods in his stock, or claimed the credit on the capital goods in accordance with C and D. ठीक है, shall be subject to the following condition. पहला कहता है the input tax credit on the capital goods shall be claimed after reducing the tax paid by 5 percentage point per quarter or part thereof. See, even there is a 3-month one day, will we reduce 5% or will we reduce 10%? Let's say use is 3-month 1 days. Will you reduce 5% or will you reduce 10%? Correct. All are correct. So we'll reduce 10% per quarter of a year or a part thereof from where it will be counted date of invoice or such other document on which the capital goods were received by the taxable person. The registered person within period of 30 days from the date of becoming eligible to avail the ITC as per 18(1) or within such further period as may be prescribed. So it means they have taken the mandatory registration or they have taken the voluntary registration. By the commissioner by notification shall make a declaration electronically on the common portal ITC 01. So they are saying for entire 18(1), how the ITC will be claimed? ITC would be claimed through ITC 01 only. ITC would be claimed through ITC 01 only. Okay. To the effect that is eligible to avail the ITC as aforesaid. Any extension of the time? Okay. The declaration under clause B, that is ITC 01, shall clarify the details relating to the input held in stock, finished goods, or as the case may be, capital goods. Okay. The declaration shall clearly specify. So while you file the ITC, you will specify on the day immediately preceding the date on which he become liable to pay the tax in the case of a claim under the clause A. So on the day immediately preceding the date from which he become liable to pay the tax, 18(1)(a) के अकॉर्डिंग, तो हमारे एग्जांपल के अकॉर्डिंग कौन सा डेट आएगा? अकॉर्डिंग टू अवर एग्जांपल, which date will come in the ITC, in the form, in the declaration form, which date will come? Immediately preceding, on the day, capital goods on the day immediately preceding the date from which he become liable to pay the tax under the provision of this act. So 1st September, capital goods on the day. Which day? Immediately preceding the date. So then in that case, it will be the 1 day prior to 1st September. Preceding likha hua na word. So it will be the 31st August, right? If the claim is under clause B, then which date will come? Immediately preceding the date of the granting of the registration. जब भी उसको registration मिला, prior to that date. Then third is, if it is clause C, that is composition become regular, then on the day immediately preceding the date in which he become liable to pay the tax under section 9, and clause D, exemption, on become taxable on the day immediately preceding the date from which the supplies become taxable. Let's say by September some exempt supply become taxable, assume. Then in that case 21st September would be the date. I have to give the date and which I have the stock, etc. The detail furnished in the ITC 01 shall be duly certified by the practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant if aggregate value exceed 2 lakh rupees. The input tax credit claimed in accordance with the provision of 18C and 18D shall be verified with the corresponding detail furnished by the supplier in the R1, R1A or GSTR4 on the common portal. How it is possible? Just tell me how it is possible. We were discussing now that he is not registered person, then how the data will come? So because I am registered, but I was registered under composition category. I was registered under composition category. My corresponding supplier might have furnished in the GSTR1, 1A, IFF, etc. whatever. The detail would be furnished by him in the returns. Then it will be available to me in GSTR 2A, 2B, or in the GSTR 4A. Accordingly, they will verify the details. Now, amount of the credit in case of the capital goods or plant and machinery for the purpose of 18.6 shall be calculated by reducing the ITC at the rate 5% point for per quarter or part thereof. We have already discussed. Correct. Rule 41, Rule 41 capital A, Rule 44. That rule we will discuss in the next class. So we will start from the rule for these rules. We will complete these rules. Then we'll start another topic. Is it okay? One A, you mean to say if the supplier use number, then which we need to inform to update in one if supplier use number, whether we need to inform to update in one. Why? See difference क्या है, one हो या one हो, मतलब see it is same like supplier can add the transaction in the GSTR1, supplier can add or amend the transaction of the same tax period in the 1A as well. ठीक है.
Sir, my question is that within 1 year we can claim the ITC. There is no question. The thing is that how will it will reflect in 2B? Then it supplier has to update in their one or 1 year, right? Then only we can claim the ITC, right? How the ITC will be coming into the registered person after registration?
Correct. So tell me for clause C and the clause D, whether the recipient were having the GST number or not.
So the thing is that the person is eligible for register. The threshold is reached on 1st September.
That clause is not being covered in this. Let me again share. They have covered only specific clause C and the clause D. Just 1 minute. So we are reading this clause E now. They are saying clause C and the clause D. It means the person who is already registered under composition category or registered under regular category but making exempt supply. Because in the clause C and the clause D, the recipient will have the GST number, so the transaction will regularly come in my 2A, 2B, 4A.
Yeah, it will be there already. But since it is blocked, we are not utilizing. Now we are eligible to utilize that. Now it's got it clear, sir. Okay.
Clear, na? Correct. So they have not covered specifically clause A and the clause B because clause A, clause B will never be possible. Might be, let's say, assume that there is a time limit to add the transaction, right? Suppose 18 month has the November is already expired. Can you add of the last financial year in the GSTR1 or 1A? Answer is no.
No,
so that
sir.
is the reason. ठीक है सर. तो आज हमने जो भी डिस्कस किया, let me start the quick round the question answer on that.
Sir, but before that, I have one question. Clarity. Yesterday, Board of Studies sent message to us. Today, end of the session, we have that quiz on the ITC by the POS, Board of Studies.
So might be they will take today or in the next class they will take.
They mentioned yesterday they sent message. Today only they are going to conduct it.
Okay, I think ma'am has not joined. Probably she will take in the next class. So we'll discuss also कि they will send the updated message to everyone. करें ना? Shall we start the quick round of the question answer? Any other question? Okay, ma'am has joined, I think.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. I am sharing you the link for GST Titan. Please give me 5 minutes.
Okay, so I think today there will be the quiz by the BOS.
Yes, sir.
Great. Geet will do in the quick next. We'll do in the next round. So okay. club and then compile, and then we will do the discussion, because today ma'am will take, so it will the overlapping.
Okay, sure, sir. You may take in the next session, Sunday.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will take.
Okay, sir. No. Session is not over. I will take GST Titan quiz. अशोक जी, अभी यही तो बोला. So are you ready? We are starting quiz in 2 to 3 minutes. So are you ready? Good morning, students. Good morning, everyone. Today we have GST Titan quiz for the topic input tax credit, the most technical fundamental aspects of GST law. And we have tried to cover all the nitty-gritties, all the key points of this topic. And I hope that you will enjoy this session and you will learn a lot. It will help you in learning. I have touched the topic which has been covered by sir till now. So shall we start? Is anybody left? I think Sanjay has not joined. Manish has not joined yet. Sanjay and Manish, are you joining? Manish has joined.
Yeah.
Sanjay is left. Then I shall start the quiz. Shall we start? Sanjay, are you in the process of joining?
Yeah, I'm unable to join. Can you increase the size of the screen?
I have already shared the link and the joining code in the chat box. You may join by your mobile or any device. joinmyquiz.com, and the joining code is 574282. Okay, I'm starting the quiz. Sanjay, you may join meanwhile. So wishing you all the best. Everybody has joined. So let's start. Are you ready? Shall I start the quiz?
Yes, ma'am.
First question is there on at least private the manufacturer of flexible goods. It has received 50 invoices for exports and import services from various suppliers during the month of September. Invoices involve ITC of 5 lakh. Suppliers have furnished in their GSTR 1s 40 invoices involving ITC of 3 lakh as on due date of furnishing of GSTR 1s and are reflected in GSTR 2B of Atlas Private Limited. ITC can be availed by Atlas Private Limited in GSTR 3B for the month of September is 3 lakh or 5 lakh. So on the top of the leaderboard, we have Chitra, followed by Geet, then Manish, Samyanathan, and Sanjay. Good, all of you. And the correct answer in this case is rupees 3 lakh, and that has been answered by all of you. That is good to know. Very good. It shows that you have understood the provision. This is, I'm explaining the provisions also two side by side. It is white section 16 subsection 2 clause double A. Red with rule 36.4 that has already been covered by sir. Details of invoices or supplier, details of invoices or debit notes uploaded by suppliers in his GSCR 1 and details communicated in form GSCR 3B, they are allowed, they are entitled. You can take ITC of those much invoices. So since these invoices were reflected in GSCR 2B of recipient, so full ITC can be claimed on these invoices and debit notes as other conditions have been fulfilled. And the invoices which are not reflected amounting to rupees 2 lakhs, no ITC can be claimed in respect of those invoices. So shall we move to the next question? Next question is there on your screen. A is a trader who places an order on B for a consignment of soda ash. A receives a buying order from C for the same quantity of soda ash. A instructs B to deliver the goods directly to C, and in turn A raises an invoice on C. Whether ITC of such goods is allowed to A. Option A, no, as the goods are not physically received at the premises of B, A, and option B is yes. And only 20 seconds are left with you. Time is over. And on the leaderboard, we have Chitra at the top, followed by Geet, Manish, Sanjay, Samyak, and Neha. Now, let us see. The correct answer is also given by all of you. I think very good. That is good. See, this provision is, invoked by section 16, subsection 2, clause B, which talks about bill to ship to model. What does it say? It says that ITC will be available to the registered person on whose order the goods are delivered to the third person. So in this case, even though the goods are not physically received at the premises of A, but since it is, he's a third person, he's acting as a third person. So ITC will be allowed to him. Section 16(2)(b) allows ITC of such goods to A even though the goods are not being received by A directly. Next question is there on your screen. The registered or head office New Delhi of ABC Private Limited enters into a contract with DEF Private Limited of New Delhi for repair and maintenance of computer system installed at its registered branch office in Bengaluru, Karnataka. DEF Private Limited issues an invoice on ABC Private Limited New Delhi for the services provided by it. Whether ITC of such repair and maintenance services is allowed to head office. Option A, no, as the actual services are received by branch office and not by the head office. And option B is yes. And the time is over. Chitra is at the top, followed by Sanjay, rank 3, Geet, rank 4, Samyanathan, rank 5, Neha, and last, Manish. So, one student has given the incorrect answer, and rest all of you have given the correct answer. And the correct answer is yes. Yes, ITC of such repair and service is allowed to head office. See, this bill to ship to model is applicable not only in case of goods, in case of services as well. So even though the actual services are received by the branch office and not by the head office, but section 16 subsection 2 clause B, it allows the ITC of such repair and maintenance services to head office. Why I am quoting you exact section and clause number, although you are not expected to memorize the clause and subsection number from your examination point of view, but since you are at the final level and you are expected to read the bare act and law, then only you will be able to understand and appreciate the law in a better manner. So if you will go after this class is over, if you will go through the corresponding provisions, you can correlate and you can understand the things. Next question is there on your screen. Due to a quality dispute, PZP Limited withheld payment on a machine supplied by a vendor till it could be rectified. Over 180 days went by in this dispute. Whether any action is required by PZP Limited. Option A, the credit taken by PZP on the invoices need to be paid reversed in GSTR 3B furnished for the relevant month after completion of 180 days. Option B, credit taken by PZP on the invoice needs to be paid or reversed along with interest in GSTR 3B furnished by for the relevant month after PZP released the payment. Option 3, credit taken by PZP on the invoice needs to be paid or reversed along with interest in GSTR 3B furnished for the relevant month after completion of 180 days. You have 1 minute left with you. This is a very significant aspect. I am touching all the key points of section 16, which talks about when ITC can be availed. So Chitra is at the top, followed by Sanjay, then Samyanathan, Neha, Geet, and Manish. And in this case, only 4 students have given the correct answer and 2 have given the incorrect answer. See, there is a slight catch in option A and option C. Can anybody tell me through the chat box what is the difference between option A and option C? Can anybody let me know the difference between option A and option C? Interest. Very good, Sanjay. The difference is of interest. See, this question is based upon section 6, second proviso to section 16.2, which says that registered person must pay to the supplier the value of the goods or services along with tax. And the time limit is within 180 days from the issue of invoice. In second option, I have given the time after release the payment. That is not applicable. The time limit is 180 days. And if you are not able to pay the tax amount value along with tax payable thereon within 180 days, then reversal is required amounting equal to ITC aware proportionate to the amount not paid to the supplier along with interest payable thereon under section 15 while filing return in form GSCR 3B for the tax period. So in this case, option C is correct because it says that credit taken by PZP on the invoice needs to be paid or reversed along with interest. I hope I am clear to all of you. Very good, Chitra. You have also correctly replied that interest, the difference is of interest. So next question is there on your screen. A registered supplier purchases machinery for business purpose. The value of the machinery is rupees 10 lakh and GST paid thereon is rupees 1.80 lakh. He has claimed depreciation on such amount under income tax law. Can ITC of 1.80 lakh be availed by the supplier? And the time is over. We have Chitra at the top, followed by Sanjay and then Samyanathan. And yes, all of you have given the correct answer. Very good. If only if depreciation is claimed on tax component, then ITC is not allowed. See, we are talking about tax component. So on the tax component, you can avail either of the two, either depreciation or ITC on the tax component. Since we have claimed depreciation on in this case on the tax component, so we are not entitled to take input tax credit. Next question is there on your screen. Hercules Machinery delivered a machine to XYZ, a monthly return filer under GST. In the month of January, under invoice number 49 dated 28 January 24, rupees 4,15,000 plus GST, and undertook trial runs and calibration of the machine as per the requirement of XYZ. The amount chargeable for the post-delivery activities was covered in a debit note raised in the month of April 24 for rupees 50,000 plus GST. XYZ did not file its annual return for financial year 23-24 till the end of November 24. What is the time limit to avail ITC in respect of tax paid on supply for invoice number 49 and the debit note? Option A, 30th November 24 for both. This is a very important aspect of income input tax credit. Please read the question very carefully and then give your answer. Option B, 30th November 25 for both. C, 30th November 24 for invoice and 30th November 25 for debit note. Time is over. We have Sanjay at the top, followed by Chitra, and then rank 3 is Geet. See, see the result of the answer. All of you have got confused in this answer, and one of the student, all of you have given the answer, but one has, two has given the, four students have given the incorrect answer, and only two have given the correct answer. See, let me read the relevant provision to you, and then shall discuss it the same with you. The time limit for availing ITC is 30th November of succeeding financial year or date of filing relevant annual return, whichever is earlier. ITC on invoices pertaining to a financial year or debit note issued in a financial year can be availed any time till 30th November of succeeding financial year or the date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. But the point to note in this case is that in case of debit notes, the date of issuance of debit note and not the date of underlying invoice is relevant for determination of relevant financial year. डेबिट नोट में आपको ये ध्यान रखना है कि डेट ऑफ इशू ऑफ डेबिट नोट क्या है, फाइनेंशियल ईयर उसके अकॉर्डिंगली चलेगा, नॉट अकॉर्डिंग टू द डेट ऑफ अंडरलाइंग इनवॉइस, राइट? So this is a catch here. In this question, the time limit to avail ITC in respect of tax paid on supply for invoice was issued on 28th January 2024. एनुअल रिटर्न यहाँ पर फाइल हुई नहीं है, तो इनवॉइस के लिए लास्ट डेट होगी 30th November 24, राइट? 30th November of the succeeding financial year. That is, यहाँ पर financial year है 23-24, so 30th November 24 is the date for invoice. And debit note कब issue हुआ है? Amount chargeable for, see, amount chargeable for post-delivery activities was covered in a debit note raised in the month of April 24. So April 24, so relevant financial year is 24-25, and the date for availing ITC in case of debit note, it is received in next financial year. So time limit is 30th November 2025. यहाँ पर 24 अप्रैल में इशू हुआ है डेबिट नोट, तो फाइनेंशियल ईयर रेलिवेंट है 24-25. So the last date is 30th November 25. I hope I am clear to you. Is this doubt clear to you? This is very important aspect where students generally commit mistake. Please let me know through the chat box. Is it clear to you? Okay, good to know. Now we are moving to the next question. These are the type of rapid fire questions where I want answers from all of you, and that to a quick answer, because that has already been key concept has already been explained to you. Oh, very good. Everybody has given the answer. Very good. So we have Sanjay at the top, then Chitra, and then Geet. ITC on trucks purchased by a company for transportation of its finished goods is allowed. Very good. Section 17, subsection 5 talks about the block credit. See, इसमें important चीज ये है कि जो आपके लिए ITC blockage है, that is for motor vehicles for transportation of persons, right, with seating capacity less than equal to 13%. Transportation of finished goods is allowed. वो तो ट्रक से है या किसी भी व्हीकल से, इट इज अलाउड इन ऑल द केसेस. The limitation is there for transportation of persons. So that is why here ITC is allowed. Moving to the next question. ITC on general insurance taken on a car used by employees of a manufacturing company for official purposes is dash. Answered by 5 students. Very good. Very good. Sanjay is at the top, followed by Chitra and then Geet. And the correct answer in this case is blocked. Very good. Because we know that these services, general insurance and general insurance, repair and maintenance, these services relating to ineligible motor vehicles or aircraft, when used for eligible purpose only, then only it is allowed, otherwise it is disallowed, right? So let's move to the next question. ABC and Company, a caterer of Amritsar, had been awarded a contract for catering in a marriage to be held at Ludhiana. The firm has given the contract for supply of snacks to be served in the marriage to CD and Sons, a local caterer of Ludhiana. ITC on such outdoor catering services availed by AB and Company from CD and Sons is blocked or allowed. And please also share the feedback simultaneously, that are you learning, are you enjoying the session, are you feel it is useful to you, are your concepts getting clear and strengthened? Very useful, good to know. One student has left, and we have Sanjay at the top, then Chitra, and then Geet. So in this case, yes, the credit is allowed. One student has given the incorrect answer. See, in case of outdoor catering, क्या होता है अगर आप, it is allowed in two cases. One, if there is a statutory obligation to provide the same, and another if it is used for subcontracting. That is the what do we mean by say that these services are used by a registered person for making an outward taxable supply of same category of goods or services as an element of composite or mixed supply. So subcontracting means that when such goods or services are used by a taxable person who are in the same line of business, that is outdoor catering availed by another outdoor caterer. यहाँ पर क्या है, ABC and Company is a caterer and he has given the contract for supply of snacks to CD and Sons, a local caterer. It is a case of subcontracting. That is why input tax credit is allowed in this case. Very useful and cover key concepts. Thank you, Geet. So it's time to move to the next question. Outdoor catering service is availed by a company to run a free canteen in its factory for its employees. The Factories Act 1948 requires the company to set up a canteen in its factory. ITC on such outdoor catering is blocked or it is allowed. And we have Sanjay at the top, rank 2 Geet, and rank 3 Chitra. Congratulations. We have got the mixed response, although I just cleared the concept in the previous question to you. In this case, ITC is allowed. Why it is allowed? ITC is not blocked because The outdoor catering services is under a statutory obligation. Here, Factories Act 1948 requires the company to set up a canteen in its factory. That is why input tax credit is allowed in this case. Is it clear to all of you? May I know through the chat? Is it clear to you all that input tax credit in case of outdoor catering is allowed in case of subcontracting as well as in case of if it is under any statutory obligation? Okay. Moving to the next question. A company avails services of a travel agency for organizing a pre-vacations for its top performing employees. ITC on such services is blocked or allowed. We have Sanjay at the top, rank 2, Geet, 3, Chitra, 4th, Neha, Samyanathan, and then Manish. All the students who are participating, you are winner in themselves because you are learning. And yes, we have got the correct answer from 5 students. ITC is blocked in this case because it is not wide any statutory obligation. Right? Time to move to the next question. ITC on works contract services availed by an automobile company for construction of a foundation on which a machinery to be used in the production process is to be mounted permanently is dash blocked or allowed. Again, Sanjay at the top, then Geet, and then Neha. And in this case, the correct answer is ki ITC is allowed. It is given by 4 students, and 2 have given the incorrect answer. So let me explain this provision to you. This is an important, and students generally get confused in this case. It is section 17, subsection 5, which talks about the block credit. We are talking about clause C. It says works contract service for construction of immovable property. That is blocked. But ITC on works contract services for construction of an immovable property, it is blocked except when का मतलब है कि ITC is allowed in the cases which I am just now discussing with you. There are 2 cases. One, it is an input service for further supply of works contract service, that is subcontracting, as we have discussed in outdoor catering as well. Then, for second point, immovable property is plant and machinery. Now, what is plant and machinery? That is very important. Please go through the provision. It is important to know the what do we mean by plant and machinery. The definition of plant and machinery says plant and machinery means apparatus, equipment, and machinery fixed to earth by foundation or structural supports that are used for making outward supply of goods and services and includes such foundation and structural supports, right? But it excludes, what does it exclude? Land or building or civil structure, telecommunication tower and pipeline laid outside the factory premises. ठीक है, तो हमारे केस में यहाँ पर क्या है, हमने फॉर कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ अ फाउंडेशन ऑन विच अ मशीनरी टू बी यूज इन द प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस, तो इट कम्स अंडर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी. दैट इज व्हाई ITC is allowed in this case. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear? Okay. Next question. ITC on works contract services availed by a manufacturing company for construction of pipelines to be laid outside the factory is dash blocked or allowed. Everybody has given the answer very quick. Sanjay is at the top, rank 2, Geet, rank 3, Neha. Yes, ITC is blocked in this case, but 1 student has given the incorrect answer. Who has given it? Who has said that ITC is allowed in this case? May I know the name, please? Don't worry. Who has given the answer that ITC is allowed? See, ITC is blocked. Just अच्छा चित्रा, आपने बोला चित्रा, अभी मैंने आपको समझाया था कि प्लांट एंड मशीनरी वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विस में आईटीसी ब्लॉक्ड होते हैं, बट दो केसेस में अलाउड होते हैं, वन इज सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग एंड अदर इज इफ इट इज एन एलिजिबल प्लांट एंड मशीनरी। अब एलिजिबल प्लांट एंड मशीनरी क्या है? फॉर दैट वी नीड टू लुक एट द डेफिनेशन ऑफ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी। प्लांट एंड मशीनरी में अभी हमने देखा था कि फाउंडेशन स्ट्रक्चरल सपोर्ट के लिए अगर कुछ होता है दैट इज इंक्लूडेड, बट व्हाट डज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी एक्सक्लूड्स? Land building or civil structure, telecommunication tower and pipelines laid outside the factory premises. यहाँ पर pipelines हैं to be laid outside the factory. That is why ITC is blocked in this case. Is it clear to you? Telecommunication tower also not allowed. Yes, that's what I told you. Three things, because these are excluded from the definition of plant and machine: land building or other civil structure, telecommunication tower, and pipelines laid outside the factory premises. In these we are not included in the definition of plant and machinery. That is why ITC is blocked in this case. Okay, shall we move to the next question? Is it clear to all of you? Next question is there on your screen. MN Construction procures cement, paint, iron rods, and services of architects and interior designers for construction of a commercial complex for one of its clients. ITC on such goods and services is dash to M&N Company, blocked or allowed. So we have Sanjay at the top, rank 2 Geet, and rank 3 is Neha. Very good. All of you have given the correct answer. A big applause to you. Yes, ITC is allowed in this case. In this case, we are talking about section 17, subsection 5, block credit, and clause D, which talks about self-construction of immovable property. So self-construction of immovable property, ITC is disallowed, but there are exceptions. There are three exceptions, right? There are three situations where ITC is allowed in this case. One, for construction of eligible plant and machinery, which we have just now discussed. Two, when the value of goods and or services, it is not capitalized, it is debited in the P&L account. Three, when the construction is not on own account, अपने लिए नहीं किया है हमने. अब यहाँ पर क्या है? M&N Construction procure cement, paint, iron rod and services of architect and interior designer for construction of a commercial complex for one of its clients. Client के लिए उसने किया, it is not on his own account. That is why ITC on such goods and services is allowed to M&N Company. Now, the second last question of today's GST Titan quiz is there on your screen. ABC Manufacturing Private Limited purchased and distributed 1,000 educational kits, including school bag, note bag, stationery, to a government school in a rural area as part of its CSR obligations under the Companies Act 2013. It purchased school bags, notebooks, and stationery from XYZ stationery suppliers registered under GST by making total payment of rupees 5,50,000, inclusive of GST amounting to rupees 50,000. ITC on goods or services used for fulfilling CSR obligation is option A blocked, B is allowed. We have Sanjay at the top, rank 2 Geet, 3 Samyanathan, 4 Neha, 5th Chitra, and 6 is Manish. And ITC inward supplies which are used or intended to be used for the purpose of CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, is blocked. And 5 have given the correct answer. Only one student has given the incorrect answer. I hope that the one student, the concept is clear to you. This is section 17, subsection 5, clause FA. यहाँ पर आईटी जीएसटी जो पे किया है हमने 50,000 का ऑन एजुकेशनल किट्स, it cannot be claimed as ITC by ABC Manufacturer Limited because inward supply is used for the purpose of CSR is blocked. Is it clear to you? I hope that by now all the provisions of section 17 subsection 5 blocked edit are clear to you. Please let me know through the chat box. Now the last question for today's GST Titan quiz will be there on your screen. First of all, let me know, are the concepts clear to you till now? May I have your feedback, please? Manish, yes. Geet, yes. Is it clear to all of you? Shall we move to the next question, last question of today's GST Titan quiz? Okay, I have got green signal from all of you. So, the last question of today's GST Titan quiz is there on your screen. Mr. X owns a retail showroom of tires and tire tubes. He takes 4 tires from the showroom for his personal use. ITC on such 4 tires is blocked or allowed. So, for the winner of today's GST Titan quiz for the topic input tax credit is Sanjay. His score is 14,320. Rank 2 Geet, score 12,470. 12,470. Rank 3 Samyanathan, score is 11,070. Rank 4 Neha, 10,600 is your score. Rank 5 Chitra, 10,540. And rank 6 Manish, 9,560. Congratulations to all of you. So even in this case, one student has given the incorrect answer. This was such an easy question. I want to know the name, please. Who has said that this credit is allowed in this case?
मैम मनीष
मनीष मनीष ये सेक्शन 17 सबसेक्शन 5 क्लॉज जी है जो कि बहुत ही सिंपल है कि इनवर्ट सप्लाई जो कि पर्सनल कंजम्पशन के लिए यूज होती है ITC is blocked in this case. यहाँ पर मिस्टर एक्स owns a retail showroom of tire and tire tubes. उसने 4 टायर शोरूम से अपनी पर्सनल कार के लिए यूज किए हैं. So ITC on these 4 tires is blocked. It is not allowed because it is used for the personal consumption. You can refer clause G of section 17 subsection 5 which talks about block credit. So is the concept clear to you? I hope that all the provisions of section 16 and 17, the very basis of input tax credit, fundamentals of ITC, they are clear to you. May I have your feedback to the feedback form? You may spare please 1 minute and share the feedback of today's GST Titan quiz in the feedback form. Yes, congratulations to Sanjay and Geet. Please spare 1 minute and you may fill the feedback form. ITC is still going on. I will try to take the GST Titan quiz for the remaining topics as well of input tax credit because that is very important fundamentally. ITC is a backbone of GST and you get a full 14 marks question also on the provisions checking input tax credit and sometimes you get more than one questions also in the examination. So I hope that you have filled the feedback form. Now I am ending this assessment. First rank Sanjay, congratulations. Second Geet, third Samyanathan, congratulations all of you. See, feedback form is you must be there in the final WhatsApp group and feedback form. Do you have the link of final feedback form with you? We will share the feedback form is there. We will share you the link again in the final WhatsApp group and you may please fill the feedback form. It is good that you share the feedback to us simultaneously in the chat box, but the feedback which you share in the feedback form that goes a long run. It helps us in assessing the way, the methodology by which you are understanding the things. Okay, so thank you, friends. Thank you for today's session. Thank you for making it participative, and I hope that it is useful to all of you. See you in the next class whenever we are able to take the GST Titan quiz for the topic input tax credit so that all other remaining concepts also you get clear. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, ma'am. Thank ma'am. You can end the queues also so that you can the first place, second place, third place will appear.
Sorry?
You can end the queues by clicking at the end of option button. The queues will come to the first place, second place, third place. That will show
Yeah, that
actually.
has already been shown to the students.
Oh, okay,
First,
okay,
second.
fine. Sorry, I
First,
missed it.
yeah. First, second, and third has already been shown. Sanjay was at the top. Congratulations and thank you, everyone. Yes, session is over.